Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode X, or, I don't know, undefined of the Roundtable Oddcast. As you can see, we have resurrected Chrono from the dead from that coronavirus. He's done butt-chugging coronos, and he's actually here for once. So everybody in chat, or comments, whatever we have, if you can type, fuck Chrono, we would love it. Thank you very much. Still no sponsors this week, and today we have a very special episode. Doom, kick it off.
Alright, so... as we all know, the new Resident Evil just came out, and Resident Evil is extremely latent. Shut up!
It's on my backlog.
Oh, there it is! R.I.P. to all earphone users on that one.
Yeah.
So, straight up, as everyone knows with Resident Evil, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories with the Umbrella Corporation. That got me to thinking about overall conspiracy theories and where we tend to land on particular ones. There's a butt ton of them. Everyone knows about some. And since we have someone that's not in the United States, I wanted to ask this gentleman who has been resurrected, conspiracy theory all on its own, if he had any that he'd like to share from Australia, or what he thought about some of the ones that we have in America. So, I guess I'll start off with something that this might be near and dear to your heart, Freak. Has any of you ever heard about the Denver airport?
Well, I know of the airport, but I don't know of the...
Okay, so there is an airport, I think it's the Denver International Airport, right? And let me backtrack a little bit. Everyone is familiar with at least the Illuminati, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a whole conspiracy theory in and of itself.
Well, we're not going to go that deep, but sure enough, I figured you, like I said, would find this interesting. So the Denver airport is the most expensive airport that was ever constructed. I forgot exactly when it was constructed, but long story short, this particular airport has a lot of weird things going on. It has a bunch of weird murals painted all around for telling the apocalypse. On the capstone itself, like when it was completed and when they broke ground and all that shit, it literally mentions the Freemasons, which
opened
do you
up
know
in 95.
Okay, so 95. So do you know about the Freemasons by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna... Freemason, just look it up. Freemasonry... okay, yep, gotcha.
And like the 33rd or the 33% is the highest, what's it called, that you can get in the Freemason and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, there's a bunch of Freemason symbols all around this airport, like scattered everywhere on the capstone, all that stuff.
Pause.
Go ahead.
We started recording this podcast late so you could go get some fucking chalky milk from a gas station.
No! It's caramel latte.
Oh my sweet Jesus Christ.
I drank 6 beers in 1 hour for some content last night. Give me a break!
That sounds like a normal night for Doom and I. Well, for me now, because Doom drinks less, but sure. Anyways, Doom, continue. Freemasons.
Okay, so pretty much there's a bunch of Freemason symbols littered throughout this fucking airport for no reason, like no apparent reason. As I said prior, there's a bunch of paintings foretelling the apocalypse. And apparently, the other thing that a lot of people were talking about is it was, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest earth-moving operation, like digging up dirt and all that kind of shit. It was the biggest earth-moving operation in the world. Now, speculation has it that it's, bless you.
Thank you.
It has an underground bunker for all of the elite, like the top of the top.
I have heard that.
Masons.
Actually, yeah. I just never. I forgot that it was the Denver airport, but I had heard about like the special secret bunker. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, apparently it's got a whole bunch of underground tunnels, and it's all kinds of crazy down there. The craziest thing on the outside of this Denver airport is a giant statue of a horse, a stallion, right?
Right, Mile High, Denver, all that good shit.
Wait. On the statue, the horse's name is Satan,
Oh,
and it's got glowing red eyes. For
yes,
no
I've
apparent
seen that
fucking reason.
horse.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up quickly. Satan the horse.
A lot of people believe it's them like foretelling of one of the 4 horse of the apocalypse. And then on top of that, this fucking horse, when it was built, it actually fell on the sculptor on his fucking leg, severing, I guess, his femoral artery or anything like that, and killed him.
I've seen that statue.
Yeah.
Is this? Did they also call the horse Blucifer?
I think it's a nickname.
That fucking horse is terrifying. I know the one. That is fucking awful looking.
I saw it a lot when we were living in Denver. Yeah. I just
Someone took
forgot about all that.
Yeah.
Someone photoshopped the horse bigger than the city, and that's giving me major anxiety right now. That's so fucking scary.
Oh, it's not Photoshop. It's perspective.
Oh, fuck off.
No, the city's in the background. The horse is a big fucking horse. But yeah, no, it's God, I forgot. Memories, man.
Yeah, but also, no, in this photo, the horse is behind the city. Like, they've literally... It's huge.
So I figured that would be something, since Freak's originally from Colorado and it's right there, he would find that a bit interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed that one. I forgot like half of it. Like the pieces fell in place as you were talking about it. I do remember the like bunker of the elite. I just forgot that it was Denver Airport, and the Satan statue is pretty awesome. Ave Satanis. And there go all of our fucking viewers. But what about you, Chrono? You got any good conspiracies? I guess we should knock out real quick the most obvious one that everybody in the world keeps saying as a joke, and that's that Bush did 9/11.
Yeah.
Actually,
oh god.
No. So that was gonna be the next one. So hold on, Chrono. I'm gonna have you hold off on.
All right.
What the fuck is going on? Hold off on yours. All right. So I don't believe Bush did 9/11. But I do believe that there was a lot of shady shit going on during that. And I actually lived up north when that happened. I was, if I'm not mistaken, in 5th grade.
You would have been... Yeah, because I was in 1st grade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was in 5th grade. So... that bitch!
Came home early. My dad was ironing a shirt, burned a hole straight through the shirt because he just stopped and was staring at the TV, and I thought it was a movie. I thought it looked really cool. And then I actually learned what happened, and I was like, oh.
So yeah, I didn't see it live. I was too young. I was fuck.
So the crazy part is where I lived in Jersey, about 45 minutes from the city, right? So that's not that far away. We had a bunch of kids in my school at the time that had parents that worked in the city, and they didn't tell us what was going on, which rightfully so. You don't want to scare kids, especially kids that have family working in the city. You don't want to scare them. But we kept hearing announcements in classrooms like, hey, we need this kid to come up to the office. Hey, we need this kid come up to the office. Hey, we need this kid coming up to the office.
Little did you know they were all little terrorists. They were involved.
They were.
Fuck you, Jimmy. That's what you get for kicking my ass in Foursquare, little bitch.
Yeah, dodgeball, motherfucker. But
suck, dip, dive, and dodge. Wait, did you just ask what Foursquare? All right, moving on.
Yeah, that's
that's a question for another day.
So we had awesome.
Yeah.
Is that like Campbell? Is that like Campbell?
No.
So anyway, all these kids were coming up to the office, and none of us really knew why, because like I told you prior, they didn't tell us that there was a plane that flew into
there was
Tower
a national
1
tragedy
and
fucking 35 minutes down the road.
Yeah. So pretty much, come to find out, all the kids that were being called to the office had parents, siblings, loved ones in the city when this happened, and they were telling them, and they had other people coming to pick them up to get them out so they can, figure out what the hell was actually going on. So, as I said before, this kind of hits close to my heart because I know people that were directly affected by it. I know first responders that were affected by it. So, to give a little insight about 9/11, trying to think how to word this properly. There has been plenty of building fires beforehand. Plenty of building fires from when skyscrapers were first made to that time. No building had ever collapsed due to fire. Ever. 3 went down in the same day. 3 buildings. The 2 towers, and then building 7, which was a couple blocks over, owned by the same person. It's a bit odd, isn't it? And that building was never hit by anything. It caught fire.
Yeah.
And if you watch Building 7 go down, I'm telling you, man, like, I'm not the one for that kind of shit because I genuinely care for what happened in the city. That thing went down like a fucking demolition.
See, the other weird thing about 9/11 was just that, and again, this is national tragedy. We are by no means taken away from that. It's still fucked up.
By no means.
Aside from the fact that, what was the trending thing like 3 years ago? Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. It wasn't the first terrorist attack on the Twin Towers. There was another one with a van parked in the parking garage beneath the building, loaded with explosives. I want to say that actually did go off. It wasn't discovered until it went off, but it did not cause the whole building to crash. Like, the structural integrity was there. That being said, though, if a fucking 747 or whatever it was flies through a building, that is going to fuck up a lot of your structural support. Like, the fire, maybe not. But if a big-ass plane comes through, those beams are going down regardless.
But here's the thing. The people who made the building specifically thought about that, because you have to think, have neither one of you been to the city?
I have. I've been to Ground Zero.
Oh, you've been?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it.
About that.
I saw it like 9 months after it happened, and it was still like there was still smoke and smoldering coming from it. It was insane. So I haven't seen the pretty new memorial. Like, I saw fucked up Ground Zero.
Yeah. Pretty much the builder, the architect who made those towers, and most of the ones in the city, I mean, not all of them, but like the major skyscrapers are all made with the idea that a plane can hit them and it will not affect them like that.
Because they've got to really think about everything when they build something like that. And the way I think about it is, like, sure, the planes are big and huge, and structurally, you know, they're made to fly, so they can't be ridiculously heavy.
Let's just drop a plane on Chrono real quick to show them that it's not like a paper airplane.
No,
there's a little bit of heft to these things, dude. A fucking jet engine alone.
I know there is, but, like, you look at, you know, plane crashes and stuff, the things disintegrate whenever they impact with something. In the case of this, they went straight through. Like, they went straight fucking through. Yeah. Without really,
There's so many conspiracy theories about 9/11. I honestly, like, there's a conspiracy theory, like, apparently there's projected planes, and that explosion you saw was an actual explosion. Like, I looked this shit up. Like, if I'm lying, I'm dying.
There's a lot of shit about it, because they're like, how did traffic control not do anything about it? How did, like, the Pentagon end up getting a hit? Like, there's so many red flags with the communications and everything that was supposed to happen, and things that could have been done, because apparently they could have easily figured out what was about to happen, the lack of communication, and sent the Air Force out to intercept it, and then they never did. I'm also sitting here going, even if all that is true, do you really want to be the one to pull the plug and say, yeah, go shoot down these planes with however many people on them? Because over 3,000 died that day. Of course, the towers crashed, but there were still the passengers on the plane. So there was just a whole lot.
Well, and that's the next thing, too. Just pertaining to that whole scenario is that one that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the one where they said the passengers overtook the plane and then drove it into the ground.
Field.
So it is. So initially, everyone believed that. That made sense to everyone. They wanted to believe that these people took their lives back into their hands and fought back against these terrorists, which me as a young chap wanted to believe that as well. Everyone did. But it's funny, like, I know people that were hardened, like, yeah, that's what happened. And as time went on and you were able to take a step back and kind of, like, process it a little bit more, that thing was shot down. That plane was shot down because if you look at any plane crash, there's bigger remnants of the damage than what was there at Shanksville, Pennsylvania. There was literally like a small crater and a burn mark where a piece hit and it was scattered all over the place. Now, if you look at what an F-16 does to something after it hits it with a missile, and then you look at a plane crash, it just doesn't add up. And I think they just wove that story to make people feel good about the situation, at least a little bit better. Not good, because trust me, the whole tri-state area was fucked up for a long time because of 9/11.
Yeah, definitely.
And your Australian conspiracy theory there? Because I was intending Bush did 9/11 as a joke.
Oh,
And then we got actually real on it.
Well, not as a joke, but I didn't actually intend to dive into all that.
But, yeah, because like everyone knows the conspiracies of 9/11 and such. Like as you said, you don't believe that Bush was responsible entirely. I do believe it was very governmental. That there was a push behind it for some political gain. Not necessarily in the favor of Bush, but maybe even the political party. I don't know. It's just, it's a horrible situation that just has a lot of, bad shit behind it.
Terrorists tend to have that effect, yeah?
Mm.
Well, Chrono doesn't seem to have one, but there's another one often brought up with politics, and that is the JFK assassination.
yes.
There's a really big conspiracy behind that there were two shooters, that it was also the CIA, fucking mob stuff over Kennedy's brother. There's just so many different stories on what people think actually happened to Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder.
So, on this question, talking about Kenny, have either one of you watched the actual Zapruder film of his assassination?
No.
Okay, so there is a film out there, or not a film, but a clip from this guy named Zapruder, who was there at Dealey Plaza when Kennedy got shot. And all I'm going to say is, if you watch the whole thing, from what they claim to what actually happened, you're kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But when they had other people like breaking it down and showing all that shit, it's like, wait a minute. It's weird, man. It's I love it. It's weird. But yeah, like Kennedy was big with the mob. Apparently they called in favors to get him elected, and then he was supposed to kind of like lay off the mob, but then went directly after organized crime.
Yep.
And they're like, hold on a minute. What the fuck are you doing? We got you in office, and now you're fucking us? Wait a minute. And then you the whole CIA thing, and then his brothers, that whole family, and then
the Kennedys just had a lot of bad fucking luck.
Well,
yeah,
a lot of people say that's all because of the bullshit they were involved in to get to where they were in that political climate.
Right.
Like, they were supposed to do so much, got to where they were, and like, yeah, about that, fuck you, we're gonna do what we want now. Oh, is that really the case now? Bah! So
that was the most realistic sounding gunshot effect I've ever heard come from.
I can imagine that you're running into war, and all you hear is people go, bah, bah, bah!
Yeah, that's what they make guns sound like now.
You listen here, sir. I got my rifle, and it goes pow.
Remember, no Russian. Ba 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 ba. No, it's just there's another fun one, and this is the one that I don't believe at all, but as a musician, I really enjoy, and that is Paul
McCartney. I was gonna say that. All
right, I'll let you do this one since you haven't talked at all this fucking podcast.
Yeah, do tell, because I'm actually I'm lost about this.
This one's actually pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. It's kind of like, I mean, it's probably not real, but you just want to believe it.
Yeah, it's like 99% you laugh at it, but then you read everything and you're like, but that 1%.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a conspiracy that Paul McCartney passed away in the 70s or 80s. And the Beatles,
66.
because they were 66, because the Beatles were obviously up and coming, they didn't want to just tell their fan base, hey, fucking Paul McCartney just died. So they replaced him with a lookalike that they found at a like a Beatles lookalike thing. They hosted a Paul McCartney lookalike contest, and the winner would get a prize. But little did they know, they were actually looking for someone to replace Paul McCartney. And there's like side-by-side photos of Paul McCartney now and Paul McCartney back then showing like they look nothing the same. They look very different. Like there's this weird blemish here, but there isn't one there. And a lot of other people back it up because if you listen to their music, I'm pretty sure Strawberry Fields.
So many of their fucking songs.
Yeah. In Strawberry Fields, if you play it backwards, you hear someone say, I buried Paul. I buried Paul.
Lennon says, I buried Paul.
Yeah, and then in Revolution Number 9, when you play that backwards, you hear "Turn Me On, Dead Man, Turn Me On, Dead Man" playing over and over again.
What?
And then there's another one that just has "Paul is dead" said like 3 times over and over. And then when they asked Lennon about the "I buried Paul," he's like, "No, I said cranberry sauce." And everybody's like, why the fuck would you say cranberry sauce?
Cranberry sauce, that's fucking weird. And then also on the Abbey Road cover, Paul is the only one who's not wearing shoes. He's the only one who's barefoot. And people are like, oh, that's symbolistic. He's in all white, and they're like, that's symbolism for the fact that he's dead. It's a huge thing. And like I delved deep into it because I'm like, fuck, this would be cool if it were real. I always love me a good spicy conspiracy, but there's just so much of it where you're like, it's probably not real.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not, but...
Paul McCartney's alive and well, but that was, like, one of the more interesting conspiracy theories I'd ever heard.
Because I saw the photo of that lookalike, and I'm like, I mean, it looks a lot like him. But then, people I've actually asked, I think they asked Ringo Starr about it, and they're like, we never hosted a contest of that type. Why would we do that? That's just, dumb. But, again, it's like 1%. We're just like, that would be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Because all the music, like, fucking, I love, like, Revolution 9, and playing that backwards, it fucking spooks me. You hear sirens, you hear screaming, you hear crowds. Even playing it forwards is pretty fucked up. I don't know if you've heard it. I really recommend giving it a listen. Yeah, I'll link it to the, right here, I'll link it here, because it will give you really weird heebie-jeebie vibes. Because of how fucking weird it sounds. There's the remastered one, but the original is actually, before they remastered it, it's actually a bit weirder. Because of the fact when they remastered it, they actually took out a few of the things, such as when the Paul is Dead line, they actually removed that from the remaster.
So the Paul is Dead is only when you played it backwards, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Day in the Life. He blew his mind out in the car. Paul is dead. Miss him. When the song is played backward. Yeah. Lennon also mumbled, I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields.
Yep.
And then there was the one with like their album cover where they all posed with like dismembered dolls and raw meat. It was supposed to symbolize Paul in pieces.
Yeah, because right after that is when they did Sgt. Pepper's, and they believed that the Sgt. Pepper's album cover it showed Paul McCartney as a completely different person or something. More symbolism, of course. But yeah, it's just I love this one because I know it's not real, but I love telling people.
On the Sgt. Pepper's one, if you put the album cover up to a mirror, on the drums it said like 1, he's dead, 1. So. Yeah, the Paul is Dead one is a pretty fucking trippy one for music fans out there.
I've never, now I'm going to start looking into it because I've never heard
it's fucking good. You'll like it. It's fucking good. Like
realistically, probably not there at all, but that is an actual fun conspiracy to look into. Like, I kept reading. I was like, no shit. I'm not even that big of a Beatles fan. I respect what they did for the music industry, but it's not exactly my style. I like a few songs here and there. But you still can't deny that they're fucking icons and legends.
The crazy part is, it was like during, while I was looking this kind of stuff up too, apparently there's rumor that Avril Lavigne.
Yep. I was going to bring her up since we were talking about this. Avril died like after her first fucking album or whatever.
Yeah.
She looks completely different.
Yeah.
So
they even said they named the replacement who they believed it was and who took her spot of. I'm like, well, hold on, that came from conspiracy theory if they figured out who the hell it was.
Yeah. No, there's a big conspiracy that Avril Lavigne has been dead for like 20 years.
Hold on.
Car accident, something as such.
The real question is, does Chad Kroeger know about this?
He's probably like, oh, thank God. It isn't her.
Yeah, I've actually thought based on the music one, it's a bit stupid. It's literally a Britney Spears conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is that the one where she hasn't sung like it's after her breakdown, she didn't sing her songs, but they got one of her backup singers who could sound just like her to do her songs and shit.
Because it was the Blackout album, which was apparently like her most famous album, one of the best albums. But it doesn't even apparently it doesn't even credit Britney Spears as the vocalist on the album, and people believe that it's actually her backup singer. And since then, she hasn't done it because she's been so fucked up on happy drugs after her breakdown. Because people up in the high rankings of celebrities and shit don't want her to start flipping out.
Masons.
They don't want her to freak out and start telling people shit that she knows about behind the scenes. So if you watch her on fucking American Idol, I'm pretty sure she's on. She's fucking whacked out of her mind. Like people come out and they'll do their song and she's like, I really liked how you presented yourself because it reminded me of me when I started. Like, it was really robotic, really freaky, and you're like, you fucked up on something, girl. You damn.
Hey.
And then, but you got the part who's like, I really liked how you did it.
Yeah.
She always does that fucking flutter everywhere.
Yeah. Right. It's excellent.
So here's one that I wanted to bring up because I believe we talked about this on a prior, I think one of the first few podcasts that we did. And it was funny because I was getting tattooed before this whole lockdown thing. And I was talking to my tattoo artist and he was another inspiration behind this. And he's balls deep into conspiracy theories. Mm. So I'm laying there getting my arm tattooed and he's just like, oh yeah, hey, you know about this one? You know about this one? You know about this one? I'm like, no, go ahead and tell me. Go ahead, just get my work done. Mm. So he was telling me about the wildfires in Australia.
Yeah, we talked about this one.
And I was like, wait a minute. I've talked about this before, and I know a guy that lives out that way. I said, tell me what you know. And he pretty much confirmed what you said, that he believed
the train?
Yeah, the train, all that shit. He was talking all about that. And then he even mentioned the same thing that you mentioned about one of those odd photos. Mm. So, do you know which photo I'm talking about?
Is it the one where it looks like there's a laser coming from the sky? Or...
Yep.
Yeah.
So
what?
No bullshit. But so how me and him were talking about it, and I was like, I said the same thing. I was like, you're not the only one that told me about that. I said my buddy in Australia was telling me something kind of similar, and he starts delving into it. He's like, yeah, it's direct energy weapons is what he called it. And I looked it up, and it's a thing. And apparently, it's not just Australia that it was tested and used.
Los Angeles.
Yep, the California wildfires, every few years. And there's even pictures of the shit coming down, hitting. Yep. And if you look down at aerial views, you can see specific paths where the fire went and where it didn't go. And then it hit cars and shit.
Yeah.
The cars were fine, but the shit inside the cars was, wait, hold on. The cars were fucked up, but everything inside the car was completely fine, which
this is fucking crazy.
It's a bit weird. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I went to it was around December. My Harley's grandfather came from the States, and we decided to head up north to this beautiful beach, which is on the coast. But you would literally be driving down the road. This entire side of the road, full of trees, all fucking burnt to crisp. Fucking nothing left. This side, houses untouched, completely untouched. It's not a very fucking wide road. I don't know how they didn't catch, It was very weird.
Yeah, it was funny. He was my tattoo artist was talking to me about the same thing, and he was saying that he read a report. Apparently, there was a firefighter that was living I guess in a city or near a city that was getting close to the wildfires. And long story short, he was like, "Hey, everyone in this area, pre-burn what's around your house." like, I guess, all the brush and all that kind of stuff. He said, do a controlled burn, I guess, however far away from your house, I guess, whatever's a safe distance. Because, he was a firefighter. He knows what he's talking about. He's like, hey, burn around this area around your house because these wildfires are coming. If you do this, it can't catch anything. It'll, apparently they got this guy a like $100,000 fine. I guess, I don't know if that was your currency or our currency, whatever it was. And apparently, like, they took him to jail when this happened. And then all of a sudden, they stopped the controlled fire burns, and then it wiped out that fucking town. Yeah. Why would they even care about this controlled fire burn if he was literally a firefighter?
Yeah.
So he was talking about all that, and then he was even saying that he heard another report about there was a guy who he watches that does like a lot of natural planting and stuff, like living off the earth. And he's Australian. And this guy went off a tangent. Apparently he's on YouTube. I haven't found him yet. I probably should ask him what it is. And apparently this guy went off on a tangent saying that they're trying to burn down this whole thing. They're trying to put this fucking train in, just like what Tesla's doing. They're trying to build this fucking fast bullet train. We can't do nothing about it. And then he was even going on a tangent about the direct energy weapon. He's like, you could see the shit coming down.
I'm gonna quickly jump in here. The fucking I don't know if you noticed, but the Resentment music video literally has that laser coming down, and like it literally, because that song came out at the same time. That music video came out at the same time as the Australian wildfires. I assumed that it was based entirely around the Californian fires. But, it's apparently a bit of both. But the whole laser beam coming from the sky, I was like, woke.
Yep. I was waiting for Doom to go, and I was going to be like, have you seen the music video for Resentment?
No, I don't remember it like that.
Yeah, they're literally playing in a forest that's on fire, and there's like a giant drone beam coming down through Jeremy and shit.
So what you're saying is...
A Day to Remember is responsible for Australian wildfires, confirmed.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's why we haven't gotten their new fucking album yet.
Because they were too busy fucking us up.
That's my new conspiracy, right? Okay, A Day to Remember has been busy lighting Australia on fire because the album was supposed to come out in November. They delayed it. They said, hey, it'll come out early 2020. Early 2020 to me means January through March, quarter one. We're in April now. Yeah. We haven't even been told a release date or anything. And it's not like these shows and this other studio stuff. Like, the album's been done for like 6 months. So Corona should not be affecting this. Where's my fucking album? Or at least a release date. Come on, A Day to Remember.
I'm really keen.
So here's another one. Let's see if you guys heard about this. And I hope you guys did. You have heard of this one. Lizard people.
Yeah.
Dumbest
one out there.
Yes.
David Icke, man, from the UK. I believe he was a goalie. Can't remember for what team or anything like that. But he like went off the fucking deep end with this shit. And Vice did like a 2-part documentary about it, and I watched it, and like, dude is like, he believes it to his core, and like how they sacrifice children and drink their blood and all that shit.
Him and Al Gore should get together and talk about lizard people versus man bear pig.
Ah. So I figured that would just be something funny to bring up. Like, apparently they believe like Justin Bieber and Mark Zuckerberg are like,
all lizard people.
Yeah.
Here's
one. And here's one that Doom and I briefly touched down on last week, but not last week, 2 weeks ago. I can still confirm it because it hasn't changed, all right? So coronavirus is a pandemic rocking the world right now, and is often referred to lately in the media as the Chinese virus because it started in China,
Yeah, and Trump's fucking
China. But, I mean, it's not offensive. We call Chinese food, although over there they just call it food, but,
not as bad as when he called it yellow fever. Fucking.
So this Chinese virus starts to rock the world. All my restaurants in the area and fast food are still open, except for all my Chinese places, because I've really wanted some fucking Chinese food for the last like month, and there's not a single open Chinese restaurant in my city. Everything else is still open. Everything else is still open. But the Chinese virus starts rocking U.S. soil, and all my Chinese restaurants close. That's the real conspiracy right there, my friends.
Are you thinking that they were serving like bats at your Chinese restaurant or something?
I don't know what I'm thinking, but all I know is I want some fucking Chinese food.
You're like, there's a Chinese outbreak. Chinese restaurants close. There's a connection somewhere.
Yep, it's there. Okay, people think lizard people exist. I can associate Chinese food and Chinese virus.
I've got an actual conspiracy that I came up with.
Okay.
So,
dumbest fucking theory I've ever heard. All right, moving on.
Later.
A lot of places in the world are obviously going into lockdown because of the virus. Very smart to do so.
Yeah, it's a little too late, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's a smart idea to do so. Like we've closed borders and stuff over here from you can't travel interstate and you can't travel out of the country. So they're trying to stop it. But there's still a spread of it, of course, because there's already a strain in Australia going from people to people. Our Prime Minister is trying so hard to avoid a lockdown, like ridiculously hard. And all our shops are still open. All our shopping centers, everything's still open. You can still go get fast food. You can still go to restaurants. It's only takeaway only. But, all these things are still available to go to. And I feel like he's trying his hardest to stop a lockdown because obviously everything would close apart from grocery stores. The economy will crash because of that factor. I think he wants to try and avoid a lockdown so we have the higher economic, we got a less economic downfall compared to the rest of the world from lockdown. That he's really trying to keep it so Australia's on top. Yeah?
Well, because it's not just your prime minister doing that. Like, for instance, over here we have a state called Florida where everything goes wrong.
Florida
man.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I want to say, when people thought zombies were a legitimate thing because of the bath salts, like people eating each other's faces off and shit. All right, that's Florida.
I was excited.
I was too. I was like, lock and load, baby. Shaun of the Dead. Let's go. So Florida has, I want to say, like the highest population of senior folks. It's just where a lot of people go to retire. And the seniors
they call it God's waiting room.
Yeah. The seniors are more susceptible to coronavirus. Obviously, it's a respiratory infection and all that. And all these states started shutting things down a few weeks ago. Just getting ahead of the curve. Let's go ahead and close the Florida governor was like, no, we're staying open for business. Tourism, economy, money, ignoring the fact that most of his people could fucking die from it. And he's like, spring break's coming up. And I'm like, nobody wants to go to Florida on spring break during coronavirus season. I'm sorry, buddy. Nobody. They finally just started closing things down like a week and a half ago. And they're still kind of open for tourism business. So your prime minister's probably doing the exact same thing. Like, I want money. Fuck lives.
I'm not going to lie. Australia is kind of like the Florida man
of the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird shit. Like, yesterday I had to go take Harley to work because she works at IKEA, and IKEA, they don't want to shut down unless they have to absolutely shut down.
IKEA should be closed. Walmart and Target should still be open.
They should be, but they aren't. So, but I took her to work, and yesterday there were cars everywhere. Literally, there was traffic on the road, and I'm like, why is there traffic on the road? That's a bit fucking weird.
Yeah, worldwide emergency and national quarantine. Let's go for a drive, guys.
Yeah, literally. There's traffic like it was just any ordinary day. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's the same over here. I had to drive to Augusta for my follow-up appointment at the hospital, and I was like, should be fucking easy breezy going down the highway. Everybody should be inside. It was the longest drive I've had to make out of all my follow-up appointments yet. I was like, why is this taking me almost 10 hours? Like, Jesus fuck. Go inside.
He was the weirdest thing for me is that it clicked to me like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I haven't heard any planes. I'm like, oh, of course. Why would anyone they wouldn't have any flights. All flights are, stopped. Like, you can't.
There's still going on over here.
Yeah, well, over here, we literally had no planes. Yesterday, we pulled up at the lights, waiting in this traffic. Like, we literally missed a set of lights because there was that much traffic. I look up, there's a fucking commercial plane, a fucking Virgin plane flying. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where the fuck are you going? You can't go anywhere. So I literally thought that it was all over.
Yeah,
I literally thought coronavirus was over. I thought we were good. Like, it literally felt like any other day. I thought we time traveled or some shit because it was so surreal. There was people everywhere. And then I got home and researched, and nothing's changed. I'm like, okay, so it was just a fucking weird coincidence.
Yeah,
Jesus
unfortunately,
Christ.
it's going to get a whole lot worse.
Yeah,
actually, they're saying that this past week, and I think it's going to be next week too. It's supposed to be the worst week for South Carolina for the coronavirus. And trust me, South Carolina is well behind what it should have been doing as well as Florida. They literally just put in a curfew now, and it's not working.
We're not even on a curfew, but we've all been pretty much like locked to our homes. I was walking my dogs the other day, and a police officer was like, he stopped me, and he's like, "Where do you live?" And I was like 3 blocks that way, and he's like, "You got to go back." I was like, I can't fucking walk my dogs 3 blocks from my house. And he's like, you got a yard.
You have to do laps.
Yeah, like they are really cracking down on, hey, stay the fuck in your house.
Actually, because I'm an essential employee, I have to go to work. I have no option. Like I've got a document in my car that I have to keep with me all the time. So when I go back and forth to work, especially on the weekends, it's like 5 pages of legal jargon of why I need to be at work with my employee number, my badge number, everything, why I'm doing what I'm doing at this particular time. I actually had a police officer follow me home pretty much to make sure I was going home.
And not anywhere else.
Yeah, like 2 nights ago. I was like, oh, okay. But I personally have one more that I would like to bring up, one more overall conspiracy theory.
Okay.
One more big one at least, and this is gonna kind of tie into the big meme of last year, which was Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself.
That was fun. That was always fun.
So essentially, we all know the premise of Jeffrey Epstein, correct? He ran a giant pedophilia ring.
Yeah.
Stripped out children to the upper end elite.
Disgusting person. Yes.
Yes. Fucking deserves everything he got to him and worse.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you heard of Pizzagate?
No.
I have, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Subway Jared situation.
So essentially, the reason why I mentioned Pizzagate and Epstein is they're 2 separate conspiracy theories, but they all come together as one.
Okay.
So essentially, Jeffrey Epstein, we all know, did his pedophilia ring on that fucking island, all that shit with, higher end, upper class fucking people, the elite of the elite, Illuminati, all that shit. Well, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, and I had it like on the tip of my tongue, and Podesta, John Podesta. He was a campaign manager for Hillary Clinton. That's what it was. And some of his emails, text messages, all that kind of stuff got leaked. And essentially, it was the reason why they called it Pizzagate was they're like, oh, I can't wait to have pepperoni pizza tonight at this specific location. I can't wait to have, it was just really weird messages talking about food, and everyone believed it was pertaining to a code of some sort, but they couldn't figure out why. One particular pizza joint that was always named apparently was a front for that whole Epstein thing where they were like doing the child pedophilia ring. Like it was a front, like this pizza parlor. Yeah, it was a working thing, but it was like a cover up. And this is where they would do shady dealings at this pizza parlor, hence the Pizzagate thing. So the whole thing with Podesta was they asked him like, hey, what do these fucking texts mean? What do these messages mean? Oh, I just wanted pizza. In a hot tub? Like apparently like some of the messages were like, oh, I can't wait to have pizza in the hot tub tonight, or I can't wait to have this other weird food in a hot tub. Oh, I've been thinking about it all day.
I need my pizza.
Yeah, like it's just
I'm not
really
gonna lie.
weird.
Pizza in a hot tub sounds pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, but not when it means children.
No, but I mean, if I'm just chilling there, beer in one hand, gorgeous lady across me, and a fucking pepperoni pizza in my hand, that gorgeous lady is of age. Considering what we're talking about.
Pizzagate confirmed!
I'm just saying, this sounds pretty awesome.
I bet you like pineapple on it too, don't you?
Fuck no.
All
If
right.
you like pineapple on a pizza, unsubscribe from this channel right now. Please don't. We're actually almost to 1,000 subscribers, but still.
I know. We fucking hit 30 subscribers in like the last week.
Because you guys are doing great. Not me.
Great!
Okay, Tony the Tiger.
That's actually a good conspiracy too. About Tony the Tiger.
Have no clue.
But pizza gut.
So pizza guts, what?
I've got some pizza gut.
But essentially, that's the whole thing. Pizzagate was tied into Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein got popped for his child pedophilia ring. The higher-ups knew what he was involved in. Like, he even had government ties. Like I said, obviously Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton himself. And this all gets tied in with the Illuminati with the Bohemian Grove. You guys know about Bohemian Grove, too?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Oh, my God. Read a book. Bohemian Grove is basically where, again, the elite of the elite go and they do just really weird shit. I'm sure you guys have heard of Alex Jones before. He was
the freaking frog's gay.
Yeah, the frogs are gay. The frogs are gay. Let me tell you, the frogs are gay.
They're putting something in the water.
Yeah. So essentially, the way he got famous was he infiltrated Bohemian Grove. Saw their cremation of care ceremony, which was like apparently they sacrifice a person on an owl altar, Moloch, and it's just apparently they do child pedophilia at Bohemian Grove. It's just one giant rabbit hole to go down. So I highly recommend if you're into all
child
that shit.
Pedophilia.
No, just no. No, complete joke. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, but it's just interesting to see how deep this shit goes, like with Epstein, Bohemian Grove, because apparently the children that were brought to Bohemian Grove were tied to Epstein. Who wasn't tied to the whole Pizzagate thing. So it's just weird to see how the same people with the same scenarios and the same things keep getting brought into the limelight. And to me, like, all I'll say is watch the Alex Jones footage of the Bohemian Grove cremation of care ceremony, and you'll think to yourself, like, yeah, this is some weird shit that they've got going on. So just...
I often sit here and wonder why we haven't hit, like YouTube partner yet. And then I go back and I watch some of our videos and listen to the things we fucking say. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be why. All right, so the time is coming to a close. I got one last one to end on because I don't feel like leaving child pedophilia as the last taste
I've
in
got
your
one
mouth.
Too. I got one too.
Okay,
So you go ahead because we're already at 47 minutes. Let's wrap this shit up.
Okay. It is a literal conspiracy about Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes. So back when Kellogg's were doing the patent for Frosted Flakes, they had the idea for a character name. Obviously, it wasn't originally Tony the Tiger for Frosted, but right at the same time, Cheetos were making their Cheetos patent, and Kellogg's. When they were doing it, they're like, okay, here's our Frosted Flakes with our mascot, Chester the Tiger, or something like that. It was very much like Chester the Cheetah. Looked very much the same, had the glasses and everything. He was originally going to be that. Kellogg's basically had the patent down for Chester the Cheetah before Cheetos did. And then there was a delay on the patent. No one knew why. It was, it took a while. And then Cheetos came out with Cheetos, their mascot, Chester the Cheetah. And everyone was like, okay, that's weird. Wasn't that Frosted Flakes? I'm very confused right now. And then Frosted Flakes came out. I think it was a year later, Frosted Flakes were pushed out, and there was the new mascot, Tony the Tiger. And I was like, oh, okay, they must have just changed mascot. There was an actual huge legal battle behind Kellogg's and Cheetos to stop them from stealing their design, because as they were doing their patents at the same time, they were aware of each other. They found out that they were doing Chester the Cheetah as their thing, and I'm what are you doing?
Is that
sorry?
Is that Mama
That's
Chrono?
my mom. That's my mom.
Hi,
Mom.
ladies and gentlemen.
Hi,
you get to see
Mom.
Chrono's mom.
You just wanted to. What are you doing?
Oh, and he got a kiss.
Oh, okay.
He got a kiss on a podcast.
I
Yes.
just embarrassed him.
Yes, you
I was
did.
talking about
It's great.
conspiracies.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
great.
I'm a conspiracy. See ya.
Have a good one.
Nice meeting you.
Oh my
See you when you get
god.
back.
Oh, that just made my night. Guys, Chrono just got a kiss from his mommy on the podcast. Little smooches.
Actually,
Anyway.
His death and resurrection was worth that alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
His face is bright fucking red right now for anybody listening on Spotify in the future.
Spotify in the future, do you think we're really going to get that far?
Actually, I planned on having, after we hit 10 episodes, which I think is this one right now, so in 2 weeks, to start uploading them to Spotify. I got to look into how to do it. I don't know if it's just like I can upload or if I'm going to have to pay. But podcasts are good for Spotify. Fucking might as well. You listen to it.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody wants to see 2 out of 3 of our faces.
Anyway, but yeah, so huge legal battle between the two. And
what, you and your mom?
God damn it, fuck you. But yeah, so legal battle between Cheetos and Kellogg's because the patent for Chester Cheeto was technically Kellogg's, but they totally stole it and they just used it as they were pushing their stuff out. They found out and they actually hired a private detective to try and, look into it, where they got the patent, where they got the idea, because it's supposed to be behind closed doors. They went in, they found out that there was a person at Cheetos who originally worked at Kellogg's who was fired because of the fact that they were taking product home. They were sort of like taking stuff, they were taking boxes, hidden, advertising material and stuff that wasn't seen by the public yet. And so like, okay, this person works here. They stole all that stuff. What's going on? They went into one of the main offices of Cheetos at the time. They went into the main offices. They found his main office, and they started going through his stuff, going through all his files and such. Boom! They found all the Cheetos patents, everything there, and they totally stole Kellogg's idea for Chester Cheetah, put it on their stuff, and they won the legal battle to keep it because the patent that he stole was the only proper official one that they could actually have available to them. All the other ones were like, copies of it that they couldn't use. So they then had to reset and do a new mascot, which is why it took them a whole other year, because they lost a legal battle for their own mascot, which is now Cheetos.
Huh.
Mm.
The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm honestly surprised nobody brought this one up, considering it's like one of the biggest conspiracy theories in the history of existence of the world.
Mm.
How about them aliens over at Area 51, though?
All right, so let me go off on a tangent here.
Which I thought you were going to do when you were talking about the meme from last year, because that whole let's raid Area 51. And I was like, oh shit, we're on the same wavelength.
Whatever those fuckers found, they need to put it back. Whatever they found, put it back, because I'm sick of this shit. I want to go to the gym, goddamn.
Wait, what's Area 51?
So Area 51 is a U.S. military installation out in Nevada, which is where it is believed that humans have come across extraterrestrials. We have taken their spaceship, we have poked and prodded and probed them, and
I'm only pulling your leg. I know what, man.
Okay, well, you're foreign, so I had to clarify. I saw your face.
It's okay.
I saw your face, but I wanted to make sure. Yes. Those of you that don't know, Area 51's where aliens are. Okay, confirmed. We saw them.
I'm still laughing about the Tony the Tiger thing. I made that whole thing up as well.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to end the fucking podcast there. I'm done. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And
hey, hold on. Just like I said prior, #fuck Chrono.
Yeah, literally fuck this kid, okay?